What's up everyone, welcome back to How to Become an Animator. I'm Sir Wade and today I am showing you my animation workspace, my home setup for everything I do, animation, VFX. So I'm going to take you through what type of computer I use, what type of monitor, different accessories I've got. I'm just going to talk about my setup, the way I like to do it. I'm sure people have other crazy setups and I'd love to see them. So now with the intro out of the way, let's check out my workspace. So first I'll just show you the desk. So this is my desk, this is the whole setup, and I will go over everything in detail, but basically we have the monitor, the computer's behind it, I have a printer, speakers, keyboard, mouse, accessories. I'm gonna get into all of it now. All right, so the first thing to address is the computer. I used to work on a laptop, but now I do too much stuff. So I work on an HP Z640 workstation. The reason I picked this was because I had watched some behind the scenes of DreamWorks before I started working there, and I saw that they were using Z640s at the time. They've upgraded, but I haven't. So I bought this thing, customized it on the HP website, and bought it during some kind of Black Friday sale, and spent way too much money on it. And then I immediately got hired at DreamWorks, so at first I thought it was a bad call because I wasn't using it, but I use it now, so it's all alright. So the first takeaway is I work on Windows. I had a Mac laptop and I use it for stuff here and there, but it just doesn't have the power I need, and I don't like how limited the graphics card choices are on Apple's computers. So let's take a look inside. Workstations have keys. This is what the inside looks like. Graphics card, RAM and CPUs all in there, hard drive in one of these guys. This is a media reader, power supply, additional power supply. Anyone who builds computers will hate me for doing what I've done here because this is only powering this. Don't worry about it. I'm aware that most people watching are not super techie, so I'm going to skip past that part and tell you what you're really here to find out. When I built this online, I picked a quad-core Intel Xeon processor. It's the E5-1620 V3, and that's a 3.5 gigahertz processor. I don't do any of the overclocking or crazy gaming stuff. As far as memory, I've got 16 gigs of RAM, which is never enough. I'm always running way slow, so I'll probably upgrade to 32 at least at some point. On this machine, I'm running Windows 8.1 Pro, which I'm okay with, but I much prefer Windows 10. I'm gonna upgrade at some point, I just haven't gotten around to it. I need to buy a hard drive. Speaking of hard drives, I'm running a 2 terabyte HDD or spinning drive at 7200 RPM or whatever it is. I also use my own hard drive cloud server, which I'll show you in a minute, because I use way more than 2 terabytes every couple of months. Lastly, when I bought the computer, I bought it with the NVIDIA Quattro K2200 graphics card, which was supposed to be for more like rendering and simulation tasks and stuff like that. And then I started to do VR. So I had to upgrade to an NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1080. So I'm running that beauty. And that's the monster that I have this fan powering separately. So with the computer out of the way, let's talk about the other stuff on the desk. Here we go. So I'm currently using an LG Ultrawide Monitor, which is like a 16:9 ratio, so it's not 1920 by 1080. I love an ultrawide monitor now. I used to use 2 or 3 regular monitors next to each other, but I switched to this and I would do more of these if anything. The reason I love it is because in After Effects, for example, if I'm doing whatever cool thing I'm doing here, which by the way, check it out. But what's nice about that is I can have this entire timeline run the bottom of the screen, so I get way more real estate horizontally to do stuff. Now this is especially useful in Maya. So when I work in Maya, this is pretty much what my window looks like. All this space, and I like this versus 2 monitors because I have flexibility if I need to resize different windows. I'll work from one and I'll just preview what I'm gonna be rendering in the other one, so I can always see my camera view open on one side and my actual working space on the other. So I highly recommend an ultrawide monitor. I will go ahead and put everything I've got down in the description, so if there's anything in particular you're looking for or wanna go check out on Amazon or something or Best Buy, I'll put all the links down below so you can just click on what you want to see. All right, so back to the setup. I have a webcam. I need to get a better one. This only records up to 720. On top of my computer, I have this power supply, which powers the graphics card. Now these beauties, I got these for Christmas a couple years from my sister, and they are the Skull Candy Skull Crushers. They're really nice because they have this little switch on them. The switch is powered by one AA battery and it powers the base. They're called Skull Crushers for a reason. They vibrate, and it's not about the vibration, it's the fact that the bass on these is ridiculous and I love it. While we're on the topic of audio, I'm currently using these left and right speakers. They're just studio monitor speakers and I got them from somebody at work. They're super sweet, they're super loud, and they're really clear. So I got those for my sound design stuff. I'm currently using a gaming keyboard and a gaming mouse. For me, the benefit of a gaming setup, a gaming mouse, and a gaming keyboard is they have extra buttons that I can use to map to functions and features and do different things. I have yet to use it very much on the mouse. I use it all the time on the keyboard, and I also recently picked up this left-handed mouse, which is super nice. It's for the same exact purpose, being able to do different things. I set this up for Maya, but I have yet to really get used to it. You probably already noticed, but I have a Wacom graphics tablet. I have the large Intuos Pro, which has different mappable buttons, and you can push this to switch between different functions of whatever tool you're using. You can set this up for Maya, Photoshop, After Effects. Everything can be its own separate thing for all these buttons. For the 3 people who don't know how this works, basically it's just a pen and paper. It gives you the ability to do different things as you would on paper on the computer. So if you're a digital artist and you like to draw or paint or use Illustrator or Photoshop and you want to be more intuitive with a pencil-like control, basically this is a must-have for a ton of people. It's also wireless. This is Finn. He lives on my desk. My wife got him for me. He's very cute and festive. Over here I keep a sketchbook on top of the printer because you never know when you need to take notes or make a sketch. I have a Calvin and Hobbes, How to Train Your Dragon painting here I got from DreamCon, and I have my Oculus Rift up on top on a nice little shelf from IKEA. If you're wondering what these are, they are sensors for the Oculus Rift. Under the monitor, this stuff looks not useful, but it is. Obviously gaming, Nintendo Switch, and Xbox One. This is actually for the PC, for games. I always try to keep some flash drives handy, some SD cards, also photos, videos. This is where my GoPro One adapter goes, and this is for camera tripods. I have extra hard drives sitting around, and speaking of hard drives, let me show you the big one. So this thing, next to a fan favorite, is the WD MyCloud EX4, and I have about 9 terabytes left on it. This is a 4 terabyte drive, so it's a 16 terabyte hard drive essentially, and I have it set to back stuff up a certain way. So really I get 12 terabytes on this thing. So I'll back stuff up to this when I need to. These pop out. I'm not gonna worry about that now. System's currently not being used, but I can check all the information here. So I can see its name, I can see the software version and temperature of the drives. It'll tell me the speed of the fan and whether my drives need maintenance. What I love about this device is I can access it anywhere because it's connected through Ethernet to my Wi-Fi. So it's essentially my own personal Dropbox that I don't have limits of aside from what I've got in here. So I use this mainly for backups and large files that I don't want to keep in Dropbox or Google Drive that I may need to use at some point, but I don't want taking up space in my regular day-to-day drives. Also, this is Norman. Say hello, Norman. He doesn't talk much. Last few things, I'm using the Google Pixel phone. I'm no longer on an iPhone. It was finally time to switch, and this is worthy of a switch. Not this switch, this switch. Now whether you're on iPhone or Android, one app you should check out is called Motion Timer. The point of the app is simple, it's to show you timing. So if you're wondering how long something would take in frames for you to do, and you say, oh, it's just that motion, what would that be? You can time it in frames. 11 frames, half a second. Or more importantly, if you're wondering what that looks like in a curve view, if you struggle with the graph editor, whoosh. It tells you how long it took to complete the action, as well as a graph of the motion. It doesn't work in X, Y, and Z, so you can't use it to cheat or inform all of your animation. But what you can do is say, okay, if something were to go up and do this thing and come down, what does that look like? So for bird, flew up, did a flip, and came down. I anticipated, I came up, did a flip, and came down. So this is going to tell you everything you need to know, but you can see that, oh, well, that was a 40 frame action, and that's the general graph of the motion. So you can use that to inform your choices when you're working in Maya. Again, the link for these things will be in the description. The last thing I'm playing with is the Microsoft Surface laptop, which in no way is any kind of animation powerhouse. The Microsoft Surface Book 2, however, is. And I'll talk about that in another video. But what's really nice about this computer is the stylus. This is another thing I like a lot better about Windows than I do about Mac, is that if you went Apple and you want to use a stylus, you have to go to the iPad, which is not a real computer. It does not run full software. Now, if you don't like touchscreens, that's fine, don't use it. But use it with a pen. So really easily, start making notes on the screen. Great for feedback, great for critiques, super useful for getting ideas, and you can use whatever software you want to start storyboarding right on your computer. Super nice, and it doesn't factor in the hand, so if you have your hand resting on the screen, you can do that without a problem. This is a horrible way to show you this, but it works. I'll talk about this in another video though. One thing I'd like everyone to know watching this is that this channel is not just for animators, it is for all kinds of creatives and artists, no matter what you do. There are going to be videos for the whole range. There's a lot of animation stuff so far, but that will expand. So stick around if you're not an animator, there's gonna be cool stuff for you too. This has been a tour of my workstation at home. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope it helps you. There'll be other videos coming soon, more specifically about computers and software. So if you're looking for something to get moving into 2018, stick around. If any of this type of stuff is useful to you, other videos I'm doing, make sure to hit subscribe so you don't miss it. And keep those video requests coming. You guys have been great about submitting requests about what you want to see, what you're curious about, questions. Put it all down below. I read every comment. I reply to most of them, sometimes not as quick as I'd like to. And as we move into 2018, I've got a bunch of stuff planned for you guys. Keep requesting stuff so I can make sure to get it in there. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Tunnel.